Empezamos con Alessandre Casadevall.
A pregnancy lasts 280 days. Do you know how many times the family receives information about their pregnancy? 10. Only 10 times. And we ask, why should we refuse to have information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Hi, my name is Alex, and I'm here to introduce you Baby Connect. Currently, there are two types of pregnant women. On one side, those who have some risk and they are asked to go to the hospital weekly or even stay there. And on the other side, those who have no risk and they only go 10 times into the hospital. Although there are some solutions in the market, some of them they are very uncomfortable or they don't have any medical relevance behind. Baby Connect is the only one medical device capable to track the pregnancy everywhere, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With our solution, not only fetal heartbeat can be listened, but also contractions data is collected and monitored by our specialized team of medical doctors. To give you an idea, in the developed world, there are 40 million of pregnancy, 500,000 of them in Spain. Worldwide, there are 130 million. Imagine if we could also help the developing countries. To reach this market, we are going to start small and fast. After a minimum clinical assay, we are going to start selling our product with a basic certification. After a year in the market, we are going to have the minimum proofs to become a medical device certification. How does it work? Baby Connect is a smart patch with two parts. One, the disposable sticker that the mother is going to stick on her belly, and the other one is a device attached to this sticker connected to a smartphone through an app. This app sends all the data to the cloud, where it's analyzed, and let the mother know when there is any emergency. This app opens the door to a bunch of services such as tips and tricks for the mother along the pregnancy, emergency contact with the doctor, or even for the father, a service to be connected also with the pregnancy. Baby Connect is going to become a reality thanks to a team of thanks to a multidisciplinary team and several supports like Hospital Sant Joan de Déu of Barcelona, San Juan de Dios of Barcelona. Baby Connect is going to break the walls of how the pregnancy has been tracked. Baby Connect, keep calm and enjoy your pregnancy.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
I have a question for you. You've told that you are making a revolution in the pregnancy control. That is right.
Yep.
That you are 24/7 connecting the baby with the doctor, and 24/7 they're going to be capable to call them and to have every kind of doubt about the pregnancy. That's correct?
Yeah, not exactly like this. Let me put the difference here, okay? So the service, the cloud, is going to process all the data. So after this processing, just the alarms are going to be sent to the doctor. So the doctor is going to be called when there is some alarm.
And everyone is going to be capable to have it? You have to pay for it?
Yeah, you have to pay for it.
You have to pay for it. Thank you so much.
It depends on the hospital if it includes in the service or not, but yeah, starting in the market where people is going to have to pay.
Moms have to pay for it. Okay.
Yeah, we are thinking about some insurance company having this as a value
Making
differentiation.
A difference.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
El siguiente es Francisco González Blanch.
Hi, good evening to everyone. Let me tell you a secret. We are not perfect, okay? You already knew that. But we are a collection of thousands of genetic mutations. And those genetic mutations are the ones responsible of your brown hair or your blue eyes. But they are also responsible of some very bad things, such as cancer, epilepsy. Since the year 2001, we have been able to read those mutations, those genetic mutations. And as you can see in the graph behind me, the price for reading those genetic mutations has been dropping exponentially. So what happens when we want to read those genetic mutations from a patient? Well, the process is we collect a sample from the patient, a spit, some blood or a biopsy. We apply some chemical treatments, and we put it in a machine, a sequencer, and we get the raw data. And scientists and researchers from all around the world get that information and try to make relations and make sense of that information to correlate it with human conditions, disorders, and diseases. They publish the results in databases and journals from all around the world. But that leads us to three really big problems. The first one is the dynamic pace of that information. To give you an idea, 20,000 of new discoveries are sent to those databases and journals every month. The second problem is that it's extremely distributed and extremely unorganized. Different journals from Asia, US, different databases, they don't talk to each other. And the third problem is that when doctors want to make use of that information, the technology is so new and the information is so distributed that it's a completely mess for them. They cannot afford it. Oh, sorry. We at Mendelian think that this is no longer a chemical or a lab problem. This is an information technology problem. And with our background as doctors and computer scientists, we are developing a platform with complex algorithms and aggregated databases that will help doctors to use genetic information in their daily practice. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, one question. What do you think is a groundbreaking idea on this proposal? In this massive investigation over genetic and the use of big data and all this, what are you offering new or breaking what is now in the market?
Our background as computer scientists, we are seeing the problem from a completely different perspective. We have doctors in our team to have the scientific and the biological ideas and knowledge, but tackling the problem from a data and a pure information technology problem makes a completely new way to see that information.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Continuamos con Ana Rosa Maroto.
Good afternoon. My name is Anna. I'm 27 years old and I'm an architect. Today, I'm not going to talk about a concrete project. I'm going to talk about processes. I'm going to talk about a way to work. In a period of crisis, all sectors are considering carefully about how to reinvent the way that we think. We need to understand that everything in life is in a constant motion. Nothing is fixed, everything changes. What I learned from my experience in India is that everything in life is constantly changing, and all around us must be able to grow, to change, to be adapted to new situations without forgetting our past. The question is how to build bridges between the past and the present, how to see up traditional elements with the modern ones to reinterpret our traditional ways of construction. The first thing for me is not to be afraid of failure. We must let us make mistakes, and we must be clever enough to know which ones we must keep. As Eric Fromm said, we need to be creative enough to let the certainties go away. As I told you before, we need to see our past and our present like if it was a needle and a thread. I took this idea literally, and I built some little structures with wood bars, needles, tension with stick cables, threads, which allows to the users colonize the space as they want. The existing world, which initially was a gap between the city and the river, becomes a support for new happiness. In this way, I generate a textile mat which transmits the weight through its fibers. It allows new relationships with the existing thanks to the internal program. Dwellings, as you can see, markets, and urban gardens. Besides, recycling simple everyday objects such a bicycle wheel can become a water wheel that allows the irrigation for new urban gardens. At the same way, it allows a new aesthetical dialogue with the existing, thanks to the reinterpretation of the traditional materials such as wood. Even if in a first time the wall was a gap between the city and the river, even if in a first time the wall was a gap between the city and the river, we have to see an opportunity where the others cannot see it, and transform it into another way to break down all our stereotypes. Every problem is an opportunity. The most important thing is not the final solution. Architects don't build objects, we build places. Thanks for your attention. Questions?
Yes, I have not one question but two.
Okay.
One is about new technology. How is going to apply in your concept the new technologies? This is the first question, and the second question: what about the global visibility of your idea, and what is your idea of how make this idea global?
Okay, I think the most important thing is the materials. Using to do a combination of both traditional and modern ones, and that's the new technology we use it. You know, we have to know how works its material to know how to use it as well. So I think the technology is only to reinterpret in the traditional way that we build in the other sense. And to do it global, I mean, normally we say that architects, we build objects like such a building which is close, you know, but we build places, we build a building, but it's we change the environment that when we place a building. So I think the most important thing is not to build such an object, but a system of relationships in between with the city, which allows the relationship in between.
Gracias. El turno ahora es de David Mata.
Good afternoon. My name is David Mata, and I am breaking the walls of collaborative workspaces through a new concept of ergonomic and intelligent workplace thought for working more productive and healthy. So it's like the desk of the future, but in the present. Let me start talking about the world of today. We live in disruptive times. Competition is ferocious. The market pushes organizations to be continuously innovating, while companies have to attract and retain the best talent in order to remain leaders. And employees have to be updating their skills in order to pursue excellence in their professional lives. Through the apparition of technology, our working tools have changed radically. So have done the ways we work towards more horizontal and collaborative ways of working. And I think that the workspaces have to change accordingly in order to accommodate and adapt to these new realities. So more than 62% of the companies or organizations around the world would change or transform their workspaces in the next 18 months. And this brings up a great opportunity that requires a disruptive and innovative solution. Let me present you the Ergon Desk, which is the first ergonomic and intelligent workplace designed for working more healthy and productive in the workspace. And it's thought for accommodating up to 6 people looking to each other that can have quick meetings without moving from their space. Each desk can move up and down with electric motors in order to be standing part of the day. And its ergonomic design is adapted to work with portable devices. You have an integrated app in each desk in order to configure the height and the inclination of the desk. And it has several sensors that track your postures during the day, and the desk will make recommendations in order to adapt to your personal way of working. So we are talking about opening the door towards intelligent offices that will connect both the digital world and the physical one in order to achieve higher rates of productivity with less resources. And with the Ergon Desk, we're improving collaboration while reducing the consumption of office space at about 30% and bringing a more ergonomic solution in order to reduce the risk of suffering from sedentary diseases that are responsible for most of the absenteeism at work. And through technology, we are making it possible to save personal configurations in its desk and adapt it to each user personally. So let yourself experience the new ways of working by trying out an Ergon Desk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. My question is, what is the cost of this ergonomic desk for 6 people?
For 6 people.
Yes, and you're mentioning also that this brings about some cost savings to the companies of space, okay? What about those companies that are already working, flexi-working, and have 70% of their team working at home, at least 4 days a week? How are you going to be tackling that? Because if they prefer your desk, that could be an extra cost to the company. And what are your competitors?
So the price of each desk varies depending on the extra it comes for, but it varies from 10,000 to 15,000 for 6 people. And we are saving costs because each desk is occupying less space because it's thought for working with the papers. And the surface of each desk is optimized like 180 degrees around the user. So you can use all the area of the desk, while in a traditional desk you cannot do this. And it's thought for working in groups for these companies like A.T.Kearney that have flexible people working in different groups at each time. And the use of a space that it does, you can work both in your desk and collaboratively at the same time. So you're saving space from meeting rooms and other spaces that are needed in a traditional office for working collaboratively. So you're merging the both kinds of working in the same space.
Gracias. Seguimos con Atelle Natanzi.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me here. I'm going to present my presentation about breaking the wall of walls quietly. Demolition of rock and existing concrete structure, near historic structure and sensitive and environmentally sensitive areas always raise concern. Vibration, noise, and dust make traditional demolition methods like jackhammer and explosive risky to use. In such cases, soundless chemical SDA require only and no special training of personnel, with the added benefit of being safer. SCDA are dry and powdery material comprised mostly of expensive cement. Mixing SCDA with water produces a slurry that is then poured into precast holes. After several hours, an exothermic reaction takes place and produce expansive pressure and heat. When the pressure exceeds the capacity of surrounding material cracking occurs. In my research, I'm trying to establish precise equation to predict SCDA performance. The task is complicated by the fact that the extent of reaction and its timing is dependent upon the surrounding material, the ambient temperature, and amount of material used. The basis for establishing correlation begins with extensive laboratory-based testing. Generally, higher ambient temperature result in higher hydration heat peak and greater expansive pressure and faster reaction. This technology was used in Carnegie Hall, New York City. The project was challenging because they had to excavate under the main hall 3,000 cubic yards of rock. And this project was very close to a main water tunnel and subway line. The performance schedule of hall had to remain uninterrupted as well. Those with SCDA, they break the wall quietly. Thank you.
Yet, first of all, thank you for being that literal to the motive of our meeting today, you know, how to fold walls quietly. I have a fundamental question: is to what extent this is a new technology, what it needs to be developed further, what is basically what you would take from what already exists to move it forward?
As I said, we don't have a exit equation to calculate how the material performance. So we need to somehow develop an equation to see how fast they produce the expansive pressure and how is their behavior. Because there are lots of factors that influence the expansive pressure, like ambient temperature, the amount of water that you mix, water temperature, the diameter of holes, and the amount of material that you use. So I think that we need to some research to have a precise equation about their behavior.
Muchas gracias. Continuamos con Cristina Tobías.
Hello, my name is Cristina Tobias, and with my project I intend to break the wall against drug addiction. There's a well-known tendency in Spain towards drug abuse, and the treatments that are offered nowadays can't guarantee a complete rehab. So what is my breakthrough? Using the already known nanotechnology for this cause. It is innovative, as up till now nobody had thought about this use. Okay, so what does the project consist on? It consists on introducing nanobots in our organism, which I've named drogobots, and which are monitored by an external monitor. Thus, experts can check the patient's state. Drogobots are able to detect the chemicals present in our blood and act as an enzyme, reducing, therefore, the levels that are present in our organism. They can also detect and reduce the intensity of our nervous impulses, enabling, therefore, the patient to follow a normal psychological treatment without suffering from detox. Okay, now, this project hasn't been tested, so questions like how many drug robots would we need to heal a person, or how much time would it require, still remain a mystery. And of course, the investment needed for this project won't be refunded until it has been fully developed. Okay, that's the downside. What are the benefits? Scientifically, it represents a great advance in science. Nanotechnology is going to replace medicine in many fields, and this might be a step towards this. Then socially, we are providing these patients with a new opportunity, with a new way to struggle against their habits, much less painful. And finally, economically, this might seem controversial at first. It might not seem like a very good idea to invest in this. But on one hand, rehab clinics and other medical institutions would benefit greatly from it. And on the other hand, less income would go to illegal activities such as drug dealing. Well, this is my project, and thank you very much.
Congratulations. I am very, very impressed. You're 17 years
Thank
old,
you.
and it's amazing, the presentation. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
It's very inspiring as well, very promising.
Well,
My question is actually two questions. I'm not an expert. Can this have a perverse effect? That, I mean, you're going to have this in the blood, so I mean, maybe you want to drink or have more drugs, more, because I mean, you have the cure.
okay, yes, as I've mentioned before, it hasn't been tested. So yes, there's a possibility that it doesn't go completely right. But when you think about it, if we develop this technology up to a point where we can assure that there will be no downside or other side effects, that question will be solved. That problem won't exist anymore.
Okay, that answers also my other question, so thank you very much.
That's great then. Thank you.
Damos paso a Jorge Varela.
Muy bien, Grace. Gracias. Hello. Nowadays, the million-dollar question in electromobility is how to achieve long ranges at a moderate cost. This is a Tesla Model S. You may recognize this car. This car changed the view of the world towards full electric cars, almost 450 kilometers of range, but at a cost of $70,000 to $80,000 US. It's not for everybody, right? The problem is that in order to achieve long ranges, you need large batteries, and batteries are expensive. For instance, battery cost may represent more than 75% of the cost of a Tesla Model S. In order to solve this, we propose this novel architecture. It's based on two batteries, one fixed and one swappable. Swappable means that this battery can be installed and uninstalled at any moment from the car in a swapping station. For short ranges, the car only needs the fixed battery pack. On the other hand, for high ranges or highway driving, both packs can be used together. This may represent a significant cost reductions since the cost of the swappable battery pack is excluded from the initial cost of the vehicle. On the other hand, cost per kilometer model is proposed for the swappable pack. According to our techno-economical analysis, and taking into account a 1:3 energy ratio between the fixed and the swappable pack, a weight reduction of up to 30% may be achieved. 20% for the fuel economy and 50% for the cost of the car. Regarding the cost of swapping, a trip from Madrid to Barcelona may cost around 100 euros, But of course, a large investment in battery swapping stations may be required. It is difficult to imagine this if the swappable battery pack design is specific for one single brand. However, the development of new standards may support the introduction of this battery sharing concept by promoting a universal swappable battery pack solution. This may attract new investors. We are forming an international consortium to develop this idea, and we are looking for new partners. Would you like to join us? We aim to break the barrier of ecological vehicles. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If I understand, what you're looking after is batteries that can switch from different cars that you can use.
Yes.
So it will be like renting.
Yes, it could be any kind of subscription-based ownership model. Renting could work as well.
But batteries will be the same? It will be lithium-ion, lithium
Yes,
air?
the innovation here is in the concept. You have two batteries, one fixed and one swappable. The point is not about changing the technology of the battery itself. It's about the architecture of the car. Instead of one single battery, two batteries.
So the idea is more innovation of procedure than innovation of technology itself.
Yes, that is correct.
How do you charge it?
Well, in the regular way. Of course, in the swapping station, you may have a lot of batteries ready, and of course, you may have a special electrical network to tackle this amount of power. But you can, of course, charge your own car with only one fixed battery at your home in a regular way.
So today, more or less, you get 150 kilometers. With this, you will get 150 plus.
Plus maybe 300.
Okay. And have you tested already?
Well, we are working on this, but this is a theoretical concept nowadays. These numbers that I present here come from a scientific paper, and we have received an award for this paper. So we believe that these numbers are right.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Y por último, el turno es de Imán Zolambari.
Hola. First of all, I would like to thank you for having me here. At the beginning, I would like to bring your attention into these three pictures. First, this is a hurricane in the United States in 2005. The whole city was covered by flood. And second is the Haiti earthquake. More than 200,000 people died in one single day. And the tsunami, of course, all of you remember it in Japan. All of these disasters that happened in the last decade, it cost billions of dollars and lost many people's lives. And unfortunately, most of that is because of lack of good disaster management. All of the disaster management, all of them need this kind of damage map. This map can give us lots of information about which part of the city needs more attention, which part needs more recovery. But it's a shame that in 2015, we're still using the traditional way of creating this kind of map. And it can take up to, 1 month to create this. And you can imagine how many people can be died because of that. My idea is here, the idea that can make you richer and probably make me more famous. But seriously, it can save lots of people's life, which is using the laser scanner to generating such a 3D computational model of the cities. At the left, you can see the Google map of Dublin. At the right is the one that recently we scanned from the Dublin city. And this map can give us lots of information. It has lots of adventure. First, it's getting very, very fast. You can have it for a few hours. Secondly, you don't need a light. It can collect data at night. Secondly, they are getting cheaper and smaller and more accurate, up to 1 millimeter. So why not using them? And the only thing that it needs is a helicopter which is equipped by a laser scanner and a program that can generate such a data and, for example, collect the data and say, okay, which one of them are bridges, roads, or building, or even humans. It can do the whole procedure. It depends on the size of the city and the condition of the weather, up to just 24 hours. And it can just cost up to 40K to 100K. Last year that we scanned Dublin City, a small strip of the city center, it just cost 40K. To be honest, I'm really surprised that why we're not using them for disaster management and how can it be beneficial for our work. So thank you very much, and I'm here for any question.
Ivan, thank you very much for your presentation. It's very inspiring. As you know, the world of 3D imaging is developing very fast. I'd like you to tell us what are the main differences between what you are proposing and other forms of 3D imaging. You have 3D imaging in Google, as you just remembered. You have 3D images being reconstructed with mobile phones, simply, for 3D scans and 3D printers. You have loads of 3D imaging in the military, based on laser many times. What's the difference here?
Sure, very excellent question. Actually, there are lots of differences. First, the image that you see from the Google or from the photogrammetry methods, they're not as accurate as the laser scanner. They can be accurate up to 1 millimeter, and sometimes it's very important to know. For example, it can give us a whole model in 3D and say which part is the under elevation of the flood and which part is in more danger. The current traditional way is they're using the satellite image. And you can just imagine if the earthquake or any kind of disaster happened at the evening, we have to wait until tomorrow morning, then collect data. Or we can just rely on the people, local people report, they call to the ambulance, said, we need here help, but the flight can just go at night, even at dusty, even at volcano eruptions, and collect the data with the worst condition, climate condition, and collect data at night, and generate this 3D model in just a few hours. So I think this is the robust side of that.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Very interesting.
Sure.
Pues nos toca a Vicente y a mí, en representación del jurado, en el que hemos contado con Diego Alcázar, Baldomero Falcones, Eugenio Galdón, Catalina Hoffman, Ana María Llopis, Vicente Montes, Íñigo Ortiz, Amadeo Petibó y Álvaro Rengifo, y obviamente también Pedro Luis Uriarte, que es capaz de remover nuestras conciencias a la vez que nos ha dado su opinión y su voto sobre quién tiene que ser el ganador del día de hoy. Y bueno, nos dirigimos a vosotros. Claramente ha sido difícil la decisión, habéis visto que hemos estado bastante tiempo deliberando. Hay, como sabéis, hemos valorado, por un lado, el impacto de lo que estabais presentando, la innovación en lo que estabais presentando, en qué medida estabais ofreciéndonos una visión distinta de la que otros nos están ofreciendo para resolver ese mismo problema de impacto, y luego también cómo lo habéis presentado. La combinación de todos estos elementos pues nos da un ganador que puedo sí decir que ha sido por unanimidad del jurado, y ese ganador es Cristina Tobías. Cristina ha compartido con nosotros una idea que obviamente todavía necesitará su desarrollo y al que particularmente el jurado se compromete a ayudarte a seguir formalizando esa idea, pero que nos ha cautivado a todos, particularmente por su impacto, por la forma en la que la has presentado y porque creemos que la combinación de lo que nos has contado, obviamente muchos de los elementos existen, pero has sido capaz de combinar elementos de una forma que que, bueno, pues que al final creemos que puede tener mucho recorrido a futuro y que claramente es diferente de, digamos, las aplicaciones de lo que nos has contado hoy en otros ámbitos. En ese sentido, Cristina, enhorabuena y cuenta con nuestro apoyo. Ya sabes que viajarás a Berlín y defenderás tu idea entre otras 100 con las que competirás allí. Muchas gracias, Cristina.
Y te pedimos que nos digas algo, Cristina. Muy bien.
Pues la verdad es que es un poco difícil saber qué decir. Gracias a todos los que me han votado y eso, y también a todas las personas que, aunque no hayan podido estar aquí, pues me han ayudado, me han dado sus críticas y eso. Y en especial a mi familia y a mi padre, que sí que ha podido venir y como que ha hecho una ilusión enorme. Y creo que estoy cumpliendo un sueño con esto y gracias por la oportunidad y por todo, de verdad.